Hi, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. I'm going to create a kind of a funky, eclectic card for somebody special. The base of my card is Sahara sand. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5, put it on my Simply scored it at the 4 1/4 mark, and my card is going to be a landscape as opposed to a portrait layout. Now I want to create an interesting background on my card because I don't like the fact that it's completely plain looking. So I'm going to bring in my Versamark, and I'm going to use my Everything Eleanor stamp set, and I'm going to use this image here. It's perfect for backgrounds. I've got it already mounted on Clear Block E. I'm going to ink it up with my Versamark. And I'm going to stamp it down. I'm going to come off the edge of the card because that has it sort of attracts the eye and has an interesting appeal. I'm going to ink up the stamp a second time, and I'm going to come in from the other corner like so. So I've got my background like that. It's very faint. So it attracts the eye, but it doesn't completely detract from what I'm going to create for the rest of the card. Next, I am going to add a couple of strips of Designer Series paper. I've got a couple left over from my Moonlight Designer Series paper pack, and I always keep my scraps. I'm a scrapaholic, I guess. So I've got this piece here that has the Hello Honey color with the white, the Whisper White, and I just took my paper snips and cut a banner sort of shape, I guess, out of the end of the Designer Series paper. If I wanted my banner to be perfect, of course I would use my banner framelets, but for this kind of funky eclectic card, it's okay. Sometimes it's good not to be so perfect. And I'm going to adhere this. Oh, before I do that, wait a minute. I have a second piece of Designer Series paper, and I want to adhere that underneath my first. So I'm going to make sure I have lots of adhesive on the edge of this one. And then I am just going to attach it like that. So it's just peeking up. Now I'm going to add some adhesive on the back and attach it to the front of my card. Like so. There we go. Now I am going to use the Something to Say stamp set, and I'm going to use this image that says you've got courage, you've got strength. I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to die cut it out using my Big Shot. So I've got that phrase mounted on Clear Block B, and I'm going to bring in some scrap Whisper White cardstock. And because one of the colors in my Designer Series paper is the Blackberry Bliss, I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss to ink up and stamp down my phrase. I'm going to stamp it right there. And then to die cut it out, I'm going to use my Window Frames collection framelets, and I've got the second from the inside, and I'm going to die cut it out using my Big Shot. So when you've got your framelets, it's really good to use your magnetic platform, which I've already got on my Big Shot, bottom standard cutting pad. I've got my framelet. I'm going to put it this way so it slides through nice and easy. Maybe I'll put it in the center of the framelet. I'm sort of designing as I go here. bottom standard cutting pad, my cardstock with the framelit, top standard cutting pad, and then I can run it through my Big Shot. There we go. Now, this looks kind of plain. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back in my Versamark, and I'm going to bring in that swirl image from the Everything Eleanor stamp set, and I'm just going to ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it right over top of the You've Got Courage, You've Got Strength image, like so. Now I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it adds a really interesting background to the phrase. And now I am ready to put it on the front of my card, and I will find, there's my snail adhesive. I'm going to adhere that onto the front of my card. Like so. And then I have my star punch. This is from the new, oh my goodness, I forget, it's Itty Bitties. It's not the Itty Bitties punch pack, but it's something similar to that. I'll make sure that I put the name of this punch pack over on my blog. There is a flower, a heart, and a star in the pack of 3 punches. And I've got some scrap Blackberry Bliss cardstock that I use just for the purpose of punching. And then I have a almost completely used up piece of Stampin' Dimensionals. I've got a sheet, and I'm going to cut off one of the Stampin' Dimensional bits on the side. I'm going to add that to the back of my star, and then I can just use my paper scissors to try and cut away some of the pieces that are showing. There we go. And I will add the star to the front of my card to complete my card. There we go. It's a very eclectic looking greeting card that's great to give to somebody special and uses up scraps of your designer series paper. And there we go. A cute little card that's very eclectic looking that uses up some of your scrap designer series paper. For a complete listing of the supplies that I used to make this card and the measurement for the pieces, please hop on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. While on my blog, you can subscribe to my customer newsletter. I have a newsletter coming out in the next week or so. You can look through lots of other sample ideas. There's a link on my blog for you to place an order for the products I use to make this card or any other paper crafting projects you have in mind. Or you can just ask me a question. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.